Hello, and welcome to Old Toy, New Joy, the show where I share with you my previously enjoyed toys I purchased from online sources, thrift stores, and collector shows that once belonged to someone else. For my birthday, my family gave me some eBay gift cards, which I used to purchase something I have wanted for a long time, a red shirt Hulk Hogan LJN figure. The only reason I could afford him was because his nose has been chewed off. Otherwise, he'd have cost a lot more. His red shirt is in very good condition, which is really what mattered most to me. Now I have the 1984 no shirt, 1988 white shirt, and 1988 red shirt Hulk Hogan's. That's all the LJN Hulk Hogan's, right? Or is it? Why does it have to be? The person who sold me this figure also threw in a Jesse the Body Ventura LJN for free. Very generous of him. Along with Vince McMahon, Ventura hosted those famous WWF Superstars of Wrestling weekly specials in the late 1980s. But I already have a Jesse the Body Ventura LJN. Not a problem. I have big plans for the extra figure. I'm going to repaint him to look like Hulk Hogan. Not just Hulk Hogan, but Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I will not be the first person to turn an LJN figure into Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I'm also not the first person to turn a Jesse Ventura figure into Hollywood Hogan. But mine will be unique. In the late 90s, when Hogan was a member of NWO, he wore several different versions of the same outfit. For example, sometimes he wore a black bandana with Hollywood on it, with NWO on it, with nothing on it, or no bandana. A t-shirt with NWO, a tank top with NWO, with a border, no border, white logo, red logo, no t-shirt, black pants with lightning bolts, black pants with a sort of an acid wash pattern, white sunglasses, black sunglasses, weightlifting gloves, no gloves, white wristbands, no wristbands, black boots, white boots, blue boots, white belt, black belt, brown belt, no shirt, necklace with a cross. You get the picture. Handlebar mustache, no mustache, gray beard stubble, black beard stubble, completely clean shaven. So many variants to choose from. I can make Hollywood Hogan the way I want to envision him. But whatever I choose to do, I want to make him as though Hollywood Hogan existed in 1986 instead of 1996, and LJN had decided to do a figure of him. So, not as much detail as if he was a Jack Specific figure or something like that, but also not looking hand-painted either. Not perfect, but not sloppy. I will show you my progress each time I tape off and paint a new section, and at the end of it, I'm hoping that he will look like he belongs on the shelf with the rest of my LJN figures. My Hollywood Hogan is going to have a solid black bandana, white sunglasses, light yellow hair and mustache, dark gray beard stubble, a blank tank top with open sides, white square NWO logo with no words, solid black pants, and white boots. As well, he'll have black weightlifting gloves. I plan to use a semi-gloss black acrylic paint spray and as little by hand sort of stuff as I can. Okay, let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is tape off the whole torso, tape off the boots, and spray paint his legs with sort of a semi-gloss black paint. I don't want it overly shiny like when I did my Hawk figure from Buck Rogers. He was very shiny, that's fine. But LJN figures are not overly shiny. So again, I want him to fit in with the rest of the LJN. So semi-gloss, we're going to do the legs and the trunks solid black. And I'm going to spray paint as much as I can on this figure because I don't want brush strokes to be shown. I want him to look as seamless as possible. Okay, so I've taped him off. His torso, head, arms, and boots are completely covered in several layers of painter's tape, and it's just the legs and trunks now that I'm going to spray paint black. So I painted the legs and trunks of Hollywood Hogan. At first I used this satin black Krylon brand acrylic paint this afternoon, and 8 hours later it had still not dried. It was drying on paper, but it did not dry in the figure. The figure was really sticky, really tacky. So then there was a unpainted part. I tried this Tamiya spray acrylic. It was even glossier and was also not drying at all. So I decided to paint the whole thing with a brush with this acrylic Sargent paint. And it's matte, but I think it looks quite good, and luckily the figure is not sticky at all. I was able to paint matte over the semi-glossy and glossy acrylic paints, and it's dry to the touch after about 20 minutes. I also used this fan to help speed up the process. So I'm relieved, because I was worried I had a tacky figure that was just going to like collect dust and everything would stick to it and it would just look terrible. So we're back on track. Next up is to paint the shirt. And then I taped off where I want the shirt to sort of start and begin. And again, hand painted that with a brush with the matte acrylic paint. I also did his bandana. I'll have to touch up around it a little bit. It's a little bit of blue showing. So as you can see, I painted the shirt. You know, I did tape this off, but unfortunately some of the paint bled through, and I'm not really able to clean that up without making a bigger mess. So it's not perfect. Unfortunately, it does look a little sloppy. But again, I did tape it off with the intention of nice clean lines, and I colored in the black shade part. I'm going to do the white border around those lenses soon. It's a tiny bit sticky on the legs, just a little bit. So I might have to redo those at the very end because I don't want fingerprint showing. So I think next we'll do the black gloves. And here's our black wrestling gloves. And here we have the boots. I did 3 coats so you couldn't see the blue, but not a 4th coat because that would look too perfect. I might have to clean up the seams a little bit, but really LJN boots to pants are not perfect anyways. I also noticed the back is chipping a little bit, and I might leave it like that because I really want this figure to look authentic, like it was from the 80s. There's the sunglasses, as best I can do. I don't have a steady hand, unfortunately. I'm not great at painting fine details. Next, I guess we'll probably do the hair. I decided to paint his mustache while I was doing the hair, very light yellow. I think that looks good. I was scared to do the mustache any fuller because I don't want to mess it up. And then next we'll go the dark gray stubble on the chin and the cheeks. And here's the dark gray beard stubble. I decided not to go all the way up to his bottom lip. It's not quite symmetrical. Again, I'm not very good, so I didn't want to mess with it too much. I'm not aiming for perfection, so I'll miss small instead of missing big, I figure. Okay, so now I'm going to paint the NWO logo on his chest using this white acrylic paint pen, which will help with the steadiness. I don't think I want to attempt this with a brush. If it doesn't work out, I'll just paint over it and try again, but I am aiming to do a good job the first time around. There's our square, or more accurately, our rectangle. And here's the finished product. My custom LJN Hollywood Hogan. As you can see, I decided not to paint anything on the boots, just keep them white. I figure there's a very good chance that had LJN made a Hollywood Hogan, let's say in the mid to late 80s, they may not have painted anything on the boots. They also may have left the paints black. There's a 50-50 chance they would have put something on the pants. There's a very good chance they would have done something like this on the shirt. The shades could be better. But again, I'm not a great painter. I would need to really practice. I thought I did a pretty good job on the hair. The mustache is subtle. I've seen people go extra bushy on the mustache in their customs and super gold yellow on the hair. I didn't want to do that. Because again, I figured Hogan would not look like the youthful late 70s, early 80s Hogan. He would look like he's in his 40s. There's the gloves. You can see there's already a little bit of a chip in the shirt, which is awesome. I think that's great because that's exactly where he would start to wear away. I want him to look like a vintage figure sitting on the shelf with my other vintage LJNs. So thank you so much for tuning in today to Old Toy New Joy, allowing me to share my step-by-step custom LJN Hollywood Hogan. If you liked the video, please like the video, and we will keep them coming. In the meantime, I encourage you to subscribe to Old Toy New Joy, get caught up in the 100+ episodes we have featuring things such as Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, Star Trek, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Superpowers, Thundercats, wrestling figures, Buck Rogers, Lone Rangers, marbles, pogs, hockey cards, baseball cards, and much, much more. And please, if you have a comment on my custom LJN, be brutally honest. Like Spock, I have no ego to bruise. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Until next time, this is your Toy Whisperer saying farewell from Old Toy New Joy.